the box? Jayla Rock here, percent off collector. We're here with another What's in the Box video. And if this is your first time checking out one of these videos, welcome, welcome. And if you've been here before, hey, thanks for coming back. Basically, the What's in the Box series is things that I've found loose that I've gotten either at one or multiple places, usually thrift stores, garage sales, estate sales, things like that. And if you're a collector that just likes to collect all types of things and don't have to have everything either complete or, in a box or something like that, don't sleep on those thrift stores or the estate sales. Funny enough, most of this stuff I got from something that I actually never been to before, and was a garage sale without a garage. And basically how this worked was it was under like one of those apps that shows you garage sales, and it just said, oh, corner of so and so and so and so, and I'm like, okay, I figured it was just a house. So I'm driving around and I'm like, okay, where's this place at? And it's literally a guy that had like a van, which, yeah, okay, if I wasn't, an old guy, maybe that would be a little creepy. But it was basically a guy that had a pretty big van, and he just had like milk crates and like, I guess it would be plywood, makeshift tables, and he just had tons and tons of action figures laid out. I wish I could have gotten pictures. I should have gotten pictures of it, but he had them like laid out based on price. So he would have one table and it was like everything there was 25 cents. Another table, everything was 50 cents. Another table, everything was $1. And then he had a table where things were individually priced. And you know me, I'm always looking for those bargains. So I started talking to him. I told him what I did, what I collect. And I went over to the 25-cent table, and he actually just was like, pick whatever you want. I'll give you, everything. And I basically got all the action figures that you're going to see here. I got for, I think, $5. So I was really happy with that. So let's look through that, and then we'll get to the vehicles at the end. So the first one I just got just because, I don't know, it was just wild. So, I mean, just look at this, man. Just look at that face. I mean, it almost kind of reminds me of, oh my gosh, what was the guy? Moose, like Moose from not Richie Rich, from Archie. It's almost like a variation of him, like if he joined G.I. Joe. So this is a 2005 G.I. Joe Sigma 6 Commander Duke. I don't know this series. I assume all these holes and parts you can add things to it, maybe armor and things like that. You can kind of see the articulation that you get here. But I just got it because I did look it up on my phone, and I was like, oh, it's a Joe. Okay, so, I mean, look at the size of this thing. And so I was like, hey, okay, this gives me an opportunity to get a G.I. Joe for a really low price that I've never collected before. And it could just be like a mutant experiment, I guess, compared to the other Joes. I mean, like, even my this feels bigger than my 6-inch figures. So it's just towering, man. It's just crazy. I'm gonna put you back here. Like, you need to just stand there in the corner and be cool. So the next item that I picked up was Winter Soldier. I didn't really know a lot about him beforehand, but I did like, his character in the movie, in the Marvel movie, and then also in the series. So I started reading a little bit more about the character, finding out it was Bucky, and they thought he died, and it was like he was supposed to be kind of like, it's supposed to be like him and Jason Todd. It's like they weren't supposed to come back until they did, and then they both come back as bad, and then it's like, then they end up being good. So I just thought it was cool to, to pick this up. It probably wouldn't have been a figure that I would have gotten myself, it just collected on its own. But seeing it there and getting it at this price, I was like, hey, cool. It matches up with other figures that I got. The Marvel Legends series has, pretty decent articulation. Of course, I don't have any other weapons. I think this gun, I assume it's locked in, right? Oh no, I think he could. Oh, you could take off his belt. Oh, that's cool. So that's a cool accessory there that you could play with others. That's weird that you can't take the gun out though, right? Alright, well, whatever. But, yeah. Cool figure. Not bad looking. Cool part of this bundle for $5. This one I just grabbed just because it was kind of like a joke. A friend of mine does not like Russell Wilson anymore, ever since he left. And I just got this to, like, make fun of him. Because, like, he's always saying that, like, he can't play anymore or anything. So I just thought it was funny just to get this character. So this is a McFarlane Toys. I mean, it's not really an action figure. It's a statue because it doesn't move. So there's no articulation there. It's just a pose there. I think it's supposed to come with some kind of base. It's weird. No pegs on the feet. But I assume that it was supposed. Oh no, wait. Is it an ornament? That's weird. Because it's got to be an ornament then. Huh. So maybe I have this wrong. If anyone knows for sure, I thought this was the McFarlane Toys one. Oh no, it's not, because I have another figure like this. So this is Hallmark. So I had this wrong. This is actually a Hallmark ornament. That is interesting. Okay, well, that's what it is. It has been identified as an ornament. Alright, so next up we have Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She is dirty. Now, I didn't clean any of these up because I wanted you to see exactly how it came. And look, like I said, this was like on the 25-cent table. So I wasn't expecting things to be great. But I just thought it was funny also that it's like, I don't think that this is her hand. Look at that hand. Look at that. Like, oh God. The camera wants to focus. I mean, the hand's so grotesque it doesn't want to. But, I mean, look at that hand, man. Yeah, there you go. Look at that hand. So I just thought it was great. I was looking at it and I was like, okay, she is rough. That is a rough Buffy. Buffy's have seen some stuff, man. So I was like, all right, I'm going to get it just because how rough it is and the fact that someone attached, like, a different hand. So it's like that's her power is like this mutant hand or something. So I just thought, okay, cool, mutant hand Buffy. All right, so next up we have Red Hood, and I just thought that this was cool. Again, dirty. All these I'm gonna clean up before I add it to my actual collection. So this one is I saw was called the Secret File series, Red Hood, and this one is like. I don't think there's no revealing who's underneath the red hood. But I thought it was cool. You know, kind of basic articulation, nothing crazy or anything like that. But I liked how they kind of made it like Joker. And if you look at the purple and all that, it's kind of like almost foreshadowing that it's going to end up being the Joker and stuff like that before Jason Todd took over that mantle of the Red Hood. So I thought that was a cool little addition to the collection. And then we have this one here, and this is the NJ. Is it Crochet? Crochet? NJ Crochet? I guess that's how it's called. 1966. It's the Adam West Batman. I already have, I think, 2 Supermans from the same one. I always kind of like just like the very basic cloth cape that they gave both characters, and it's like it's cloth back to here, but then the actual cowl is just locked on, and it's like that, you know, rubbery plastic. But and then like I don't know, it's almost like kind of like a giving, like Batman wants to give you a hug. Doesn't it kind of look like that pose? But I mean, since I had the Superman, the classic Superman, let's see, is it right here where I can show, or no? Oh, yes. So you have the classic, you know, for me it was like, okay, I mean, this is the older Superman, but I was like, and you see how the cape is? So I was like, okay, that's cool. So I wanted to get the Batman. So since I have 2 of these, 2 of these things, I was like, at least Batman. And let's be clear, with prep time, 2 Batmans beat 2 Supermans. Don't at me, player. Don't at me. All right, so next up after that, we'll stick with Batman, and we have this one, and it's Bruce Wayne in training. I believe this one, the 2005 Batman Begins movie line of action figures, and I just thought that that was cool just to get that, just because it's Bruce Wayne and not him as Batman. You know, just a little basic. Again, this is not something that I would buy like new. It's not something like, ooh, I want Bruce Wayne while he was training to become Batman action figure. But picking it up like this, loose, just to play around with, I think that's cool. And that's kind of what this series is about things that I probably wouldn't have bought on my own, but this allows me to take pictures, play around with different groupings of people and things like that. Um, this next one is actually pretty cool. I just got through doing a review about 4-inch League of Legends, which I got much later after this, and I actually have one here that I can show. Where's my Jinx at? Here she is. So I got the Jinx. So this is from Fortnite. So this is the Fortnite Ultimate Night, and it says it's the hot drop. I don't know what that means, but I think it's cool. And then this is from the League of Legends series. But I do like this, and what's really cool is that since this is like basically a quarter of an inch bigger than your GI Joes, it kind of separates it just enough. But I think it has some really good articulation and stuff. Let me show you. Like next to a Cobra Trooper. See, it's like barely. I mean, it says 4-inch on the package. I guess, yeah. That, I mean, yeah, 0.25 inch difference. I could definitely see that. So it sets it in its own class to go along, with these type of figures. So I think that's cool. And I just have to say that, I like the details that they've done. I mean, look at that. The shield. I don't know if that comes off. Oh, it does. So the shield, so that's cool. The shield comes off. And of course, I'm sure that he came with a sword, just being a knight and all. I don't know this character. I played Fortnite, but not a lot. Oh my god. I'll do that later. But I'm sure he had a sword, but I don't have one. But I like the articulation. It has a lot of the same movements that you would have with like your GI Joe figure. Ab crunch, that's cool, and the waist turn, that's nice. And I really like the way it looks. So this will go in with my other 4-inch grouping of toys, and that'll be sweet. So we had one ornament. Oh, actually, before that, I don't know what character this is from. I mean, it's cheap. I tell you that. If someone in the comments can tell me who this is, I was trying to find out. It's like really light. It's hollow. Like it feels like dollar store, but I couldn't identify it. When I scan it, it brings up like a million things I can't tell. And it's like not much articulation here. Look at that. You can't move the legs. It's basically what? So I guess 3 points? Because it's like you got the arms. And it's like, it's weird because like the legs are hard, but like up here it's much softer plastic. It's more malleable, so you can move it around. So that's kind of like an interesting thing. It's like, come here, let me give you another hug. And they still got the Kung Fu grip. And then again, it's bigger than your GI Joe size, so that's interesting. And so if someone knows what this is, let me know. That'd be cool. And finally, I got another ornament. I did not know this was an ornament at the time. I just thought it was cool because it looked like the old school. Was it? Well, no, those would be 12-inch, old school 12-inch GI Joes, way back in the day, like 1966 style. So this is a 1999 Hallmark GI Joe ornament, and I think they were supposed to be maybe a hook somewhere. It's weird. You'd think it would be on the head, but and you see, of course, lost a hand. It's kind of weird because when you look at this, it looks like you would have articulation in his wrists, but it's not. I do like how it says G.I. Joe. I don't know if you. Oh wait, it's the other way. How did it get turned around? There you go. It says G.I. Joe on the tag. So I think that's cool. And I mean, yeah, it's broken and all that, but I just think that it was a cool little figure to have. So, like I said, getting that for that price, no big deal. Alright, so let's move this stuff out the way and then get to these final things. So this, just quickly, bear with me. I just want to say, don't sleep on thrift stores. I know that often you might go to a thrift store and you'll see a lot of the same things. And I do too. I haven't been doing this for long, but I've seen a lot of the same type of figures at thrift stores over and over again, and it's usually figures that you're not going to be interested in picking up, but it's still worth it to go because even with resellers, other collectors, competition, whatever, you'll be surprised. The first one, let's start with the smaller one first. So this one is incomplete, I'll just say off the bat, but for me it's still cool because it's really, really old. This is the Mattel 1987 Battlestar Galactica Colonial Scarab ship, and it's part of it. It's not complete. So you can actually see that down here. See that? Universal City Studios and all that. And so this was in one of those bags of action figures, and it had a whole bunch of those chap my figures. Let's see, I have one here. It was in with like a bunch of these guys, and it was marked for $249. And the first thing I just looked at it, I'm like, I think I've seen this before. And I got the bag and I was messing around and I saw the date and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to get it based on the date. And of course I realized that it's not complete, but it's still sweet. And it's like for instance, this door is missing, but like this one works. And I just think that's cool that you open up and you see inside. And then if you look here, how you have these holes, basically how it works is you would have different parts that can plug into it. And like if you had a Raptor, which is the main gunner fighter ship for Battlestar Galactica, you could actually plug it in. Like you'd have like the wings, and when you could pull out kind of like the cockpit, and then you could put it onto this, and then you would have another piece from another ship that you could put onto this down here, and you could end up multiple changing it. So I always thought that was an interesting concept and gimmick, that you would be able to move parts around and play around. Like they have like a larger colonial ship, and you can take that and then put the wings of the Raptor on it, and it looks more like a fighter. And I think all the pieces basically can fit into other from that same line. So I think all the ships and stuff from the other Battlestar Galactica lines could fit onto this one. So just having this, and like I said, $2.50 just to have this in my hand that is that old, I just think that's cool. And this would be something that maybe a lot of people would pass it off because it's old, it's dirty, it's not complete. But for me, even though the original Battlestar Galactica is before my time, I did like that remake that was on Sci-Fi, and I went back and I watched some of the older one, which is hilarious. If you want to see a really crazy show, the original wasn't that bad, even though the time period and the special effects. But go look at the '86 one, I think, Battlestar Galactica '86, I think it was called. Oh, that was terrible. But enough with that. But that's cool. But here's another reason why you don't sleep on thrift stores. Okay. So I went to my local thrift store after work, okay? So this is like 6 o'clock. I walk in, and I'm looking around just like I always do, checking the toy bags and everything, and I go around to the main section where most of the time it's like those 12-inch figures that no one wants anymore, Nerf guns no one wants anymore, stuffed animals. Just nothing really good is really there that often. But every once in a while, you get something halfway decent. I couldn't believe that this was sitting there. Not only was this sitting there, and by the way, just in case you're curious, this is the 1986 G.I. Joe Hasbro Sergeant Slaughter Triple T tank. This is a tank that showed that he rolled in on in the beginning of, was it? It was the Arise Serpentor Arise, right? That was his first appearance too, because he shows up and he's like, "You Joes have gotten soft," and I think he rolls up in this, but for a lot of people, they just remember its use in the movie. It had a cool role, him rolling in with Falcon on it, and Falcon fires the rocket launcher and takes out Serpentor's Night Raven, and that's where the whole setup leads to Duke getting killed, not killed. But this is just awesome, and complete, this would have went for a pretty penny. But obviously, it's missing parts and things like that. But I mean, for the most part, it the main parts of it is there, and I love that the stickers were put on, because back then a lot of these stickers, these decals, you would put on yourself. So someone put this on, and just the fact that how old it is, and it's pretty clean. I mean, look how clean this is. I mean, yeah, it's got dust and all that I need to clean off, but considering how old it was, that was nice. And the fact, again, I said it was sitting there at 6 o'clock. I mean, this place opens at 9, so that means that this was sitting there for hours and hours. And I mean, I guess it's possible they might have taken it out throughout the day, but I know that thrift store, and maybe they would have put this out on the floor maybe in the afternoon latest, but they closed, I think, at 8, and I do not think they were putting this out at 6 o'clock. So I'm pretty sure if this was not out since the morning or before, it was out at least since the early afternoon. So, again, not complete, but very cool, very awesome. I am so happy to find something, vintage, official like this at a thrift store. And again, they didn't mark it up, because a lot of thrift stores marked it up, and they could have slapped $10 on this, and someone probably still would have bought it, especially if they have any of the missing parts. But to get this for $2.50 is awesome. So I'm really happy. So don't sleep on estate sales. Don't sleep on thrift stores if you're the kind of collector that likes open box or even incomplete action figures and toys. But hey, listen, thanks for chilling, geeking out with me for another What's in the Box. And if you like what we're doing, consider giving us a like, a sub, all that good stuff. But until next time, remember my motto: no discount, no deal. And these two together, $5, excellent deal. Catch you later.